Joe, we back
once again.
Okay, Sunterra Katy, Texas. We was just out there, Joe.
Yeah.
It is hot. It's pop-a-lockin'.
It is pop-a-lockin'. It's much different from when we first went out there, huh?
That's the truth. Now, if you're looking for one of those all-inclusive master plan communities that is basically living on vacation 24/7,
that's what it's all about, resort-style living.
Because you got the retreat. So what we want to do is break down Sunterra, not only Sunterra, but surrounding areas. And the best news yet, we have all of your questions from our first Mapping Your Move to Houston, Texas video. So you guys asked us a lot of questions about surrounding master plan communities and multiple throughout Houston. So we're going to try to get to all of those. We have two goals with this video. One, mapping your move to Houston, Texas. We actually were stopped by somebody just filming last week, and they said, man, I was coming from Asia or something. He's like, I watched every video and I watched all your map videos.
That's right. Yeah, he stopped us. Yeah.
Yep. So we know how I know how important the map videos are. I moved here too. It's impossible to figure out where to live. So what we want to do is we're going to dive into Sunterra, Texas. Again, if this is not on your list, maybe you should add it. But at the same time, it's very important that you start watching these videos so that you can get a feel for the area, the map, and see if it's a fit for you, or most importantly, if it's not a fit for you. So then, now that we've got these videos rolling, we've got Q&A. We're going to be answering your questions live on the air. So we want to encourage you guys to continue to comment down below these videos with any question that you have, and we'll get to them. So Joe.
So what you're saying, we're live at 5?
We're live at 5.
All right.
Yep, and that's important. Wednesday nights. In fact, we had a comment. Oh my gosh, the Jamesons from across pond. Remember they came to our live Zoom call that we did?
That's right.
And they said, and it's an amazing addition to our week, hanging with the two YouTube faves via the TV. 70% of you guys watch us on the TV, which is awesome. If you didn't know that, we shoot videos and we release them Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. That's our big vlog. And then Wednesday nights now, 5 p.m., we're mapping your move to Houston. So, Jamesons, love it. Thanks for commenting. Jojo, why don't you hop right in real quick?
Yeah, what you got, Jackson?
Let's do straight up map section. Bring up the map of where Sunterra is, Katy, and where, according to downtown and everything.
Yeah, so. I know we had briefly talked about it on our first one, where Katy is. The cross section again, the 99 and I-10 West.
Yep.
So let's bring that up.
Let's get the map going, because everybody loves them maps, Joe. Oh, he's got the spectacles on.
Hey, man, he's got
the
I got to see and dive in here,
because
last time I was all over the place, I couldn't see it, man. So for you people out there, you know where I'm going through.
You got to zoom out a pinch there, Joe. Nobody knows where you're at right now.
Right.
Come on.
So here we are.
And keep zooming.
There was our little spot.
Where's Houston?
Right here. Houston, downtown Houston.
Come on.
Right
These
there.
people ain't from here, Joe.
Deep in the heart of Houston.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's the problem. There we are. All these locals around here, they just sit there and they kind of pinpoint these small areas, and you don't know where they're talking about, just like I didn't. So, Joe, this is what I've learned with this channel. We got to go back. We got to really show them where it's at.
Because,
give them a reference
I lived here my whole life,
so
this is natural to me. But we are from downtown Houston. We're going to hop on I-10 and drive all the way down until we get to Katy, Texas. You're going to pass the energy corridor, which is very well known.
Okay.
And then now we come up to the 99. So this is I-10 West, and Sunterra sits on the south side of I-10.
That's the north.
And west side of 99, okay?
That's the north of I-10.
Yes.
Not the south.
Oh, my bad. So right over here in this little section right here, because here's 290, and Bridgeland's over here, so that's northwest Houston. And then so we're coming west over here on the north side.
And you went quickly, but the energy corridor, that's, one of the biggest employers. It's massive, and a lot of people live in Katy, work energy corridor.
They do. So it's very convenient because it's off of I-10 area. Yeah. And so let's dive into Sunterra. So we'll start where it all happens, and that's the Welcome Center. Mm-hmm. I was out there before we even did our video, Jackson, walked in the Welcome Center. Someone immediately recognized us and, greeted us, said they were big-time fans of the channel as well.
We love all our fans.
And so what you have here, as you saw when we walked out there, there's a massive amount of homes, 19 home builders and 25 model homes. 25. It just makes it, if you were flying in, most of the people that fly in here, Jackson, I don't know if you know it, but most people fly in for 2 days of being on the ground. So they're spending 4 days here. So they're coming in, say, on Monday, and they're leaving on Thursday. So imagine going through 19 homes over here and not knowing where you want to be, much less the area that might not be for you.
Right. And then trying to shop each one of those homes individually and see what they have.
Even when we go in, I have
day.
appointments on them and they reach out to us. But imagine like sometimes we go in, the door's locked.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the one that I was supposed to buy.
And they're locked because they're out touring clients. They're out
hours.
for lunch, whatever.
Yes.
So it's very imperative that you make sure you get this stuff scheduled. But back to the map.
Back to the map. Sunterra, home to over 7,000 homes. Yes, you heard that right. I know a lot of you guys probably come from small towns or cities that aren't even that big, you know?
How big is that, like in retrospect to like a Cinco Ranch or a Woodlands or something like that? I mean, middle of the pack, bigger?
It's like Bridgeton, I believe, is bigger.
Yeah.
But just in perspective, it's about 2,300 acres that they're building out there.
Geez, a lot of homes.
Yeah, a lot of homes. So we were over here in the Welcome Center area. That was the row of all the model homes out there, Jackson.
Okay, so that's where if they want to come in, obviously you guys should be reaching out to us and the team so we can make it way easier and find you those deals. But you would be coming in and you have a full model home row right there.
Correct. And so what we want to do is we really just want to go in, what is out here? What is the whole draw of Sunterra? Well, what happened is this was just a lot of raw land. The developer Land Tejas came up with this lagoon style, and the first one was over there in Balmoral, some people call it, in Humboldt, Texas. And so this was one of the, believe it's the third one because the other one was on the south side. So they had this out here. We were actually selling homes out in this area, and I remember they were telling us that this lagoon was coming, and all it was land.
Yep.
You know, I think Tri-Point Homes was out there at the time.
Yep.
So anyways, we are right here. This is zoned to Katy ISD, and there is also a secondary school district that they opened that's very new called Royal ISD. But the majority of it's in Katy ISD. You'd have to really know where they are. It's so huge out there, Jackson. They're building 7,000 homes upon completion of this whole area.
Part of this development would be into Royal ISD, part of it into Katy ISD.
Yeah, and it's not a 50-50 split,
right.
You know, so you got to really know what's what. And I can't really break that down, you know, all that stuff like that.
Yep.
That's where we got to go into individual builders, where you're building lots at and what's important. You know, the ones we saw were all Katy ISD this past week.
Real quick before we get back to the map, what does that mean for a neighborhood, you know, to have split ISDs? And then typically if it's going to be a new one, it's going to be all new schools, right?
It's all new schools, good funding.
Yeah.
So they pour a lot into it.
Yeah.
And which is really good. But for the majority of all the schools around there, you're only not even a couple of miles away. I mean, you have several elementary schools in the community.
Yeah.
Katy ISD. So, I mean, it's great.
Yeah, just driving through there last week, shooting the video. I mean, those schools are done. I mean, they're doing like finishing touches. So I would imagine for they're typically when we see them in that phase, which we've seen a lot of times, it's the next school year. So the end of 25 school year 26. So
correct.
You move it in this summer, next year your kiddos are going to have new schools.
And this is all about, you know, resort style living is basically what it is. You'll see when I go on the little map, I'll share a brochure.
Yeah.
There's a green bolt, what they call it, the green bolt. What it is the sidewalks are just a little bit wider, so that way you can be on a golf cart going to, you know, the parks and everywhere else. Yeah.
Ain't no life like that golf cart life, JoJo.
Yeah, you got it down. You put that thing on 2 wheels, right?
I do got a funny story of he's 5 now, but he was 3. He stepped on that gas pedal on accident, man. Threw it back.
Oh, man.
But I got that superhuman speed, JoJo.
I know you got it.
But anyways, it's a crazy story. I may have to tell you guys sometime. But he blasted through a fence. It was crazy. It was nuts. But anyways, yeah, so this is the Welcome Center. Why don't you kind of walk us through and the site plan and everything that's going on?
Yeah, so really here's the site plan right here. And I think this is probably really key to understanding the areas. And so let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more, because we were in the schools. So right here, 2 future Katy ISD schools. If you look at if you come into Sunterra, there's different ways to come into this neighborhood. It's so big. Yeah. But if you go in through Clay Road, that new projected elementary school is right here, this little green booklet piece.
Yeah.
In Clay Road. And then these little palm trees right there, that's where you were walking and showing the new lagoon right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that baby blue lagoon.
Yep, blue.
And you were walking through the park talking, you know?
Yeah, which is cool because not only they have the lagoon on the other side, the backside, they have that massive park. But that lagoon, man, it's massive, especially. And then are those all just lakes throughout there?
That's
JoJo?
lakes throughout the entire community.
Okay.
And like we saw the one home by Castle Rock Homes that we went through there. That was going to be right over. So
Who's in
here's
that?
the model home is the baby blue.
Yeah.
And then these sandals right here, this little yellow sandals, that's the retreat, the Lazy River Complex. So right in that little section is where we were at on that Lakeview house.
Yeah. And so Lakeview, and as you can see, walking distance, that was on our last episode show. We walked through that house, that floor plan by Castle Rock. Man, it's crazy cool.
Yeah, it was
And
nice.
the
That was
prices.
nice. Even on a hot summer day.
Yeah.
It was nice.
We're actually going to go through the MLS here in a little bit. JoJo's, you guys have been loving that. We're going to talk about our home selling there. Why is there good deals? All those questions you have of why there's deals. We're going to break it down with JoJo's favorite, which is real numbers, data, and talk. But real quick, let's get back to the map.
Where you at? Okay, so check this out, Jackson, before we dive into the data. I think this is really big key for a lot of people.
Yep.
And, when we consult and we're out talking to a lot of people, hospitals are a big importance for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so over here, let's see, there's the green bolt, by the way, and there's the golf cart. Let's see.
It's so cool to be able to golf cart to the, and you don't have to have one, guys, but man, you get one, and now you can golf cart to the retreat,
Yeah.
to the lazy. You can golf cart to Club Soul or Soul Club and the lagoon, the parks, the schools.
There's
Man,
there's
school
your
pickup.
zoning map currently right now. Katy ISD is all this gold area,
Oh,
and then the blue is
that's
Royal.
important.
Yeah.
So there is a pretty good line of division right there. I wonder if those new schools are in that Royal or. But they said the two new schools were Zone Katy, so they're probably in that south and that
Correct,
east.
it is.
Okay,
Yeah, even that Lake Lot one was.
perfect. So there may be future expand.
So this one's pretty cool right here, and I don't know if it shows on the screen, but I can even zoom in a little bit
it
more.
does. Yeah.
And so right here you have the hospitals, which is Houston Methodist, Texas Children, and Memorial Hermann. And if you look at the I-10 corridor, that's right here, 20 and 21. Mm-hmm. And that's right below the 99 on I-10.
Okay.
So just FYI, Memorial Hermann is a major artery in the city of Houston. So we have one of the biggest medical centers in the world.
Yeah.
And so Memorial Hermann expands out all over the place. So whether you're living in Cypress, Conroe, no matter which side of town, you're going to see a Memorial Hermann.
So because I actually Googled that at one point. It is the biggest medical complex in the world, but that's more downtown. So what you're saying is those hospitals are kind of a branch.
They're branched out.
Branched
correct.
out. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
And
so
Texas Children is huge too.
right there.
So you do have hospitals close enough, for major hospitals, and then there's a lot of little branches of it.
What about just like things to do?
Well, things to do, we went over it. So this is still Katy. This is still the hub. All the major restaurants. You can go straight over to the other side into Cinco Ranch and go into La Sunterra shops, which is huge.
Why don't you pull up that map for him, JoJo? I know what you're talking about.
Let's see.
We need to get a little map action here.
You want some map action?
Yeah, just real quick, because some people may not have seen that last episode, and that's one thing we want to just invite you guys to do is we have a whole playlist now where we're going to be mapping your move to Houston. These are also going to be on our website, originalhoustontexas.com, as well as all of our vlogs. So we want this not only to help you with your move, but be the number one resource moving here. So we've got the original Living in Houston, Texas YouTube channel, all of our vlogs, and then we are now doing this mapping your move on Wednesdays. But also, if you haven't seen it yet, originalhoustontexas.com, we have the very first interactive map. So you can click on any of those suburbs like Katy, Texas. You're going to see all of our videos. You're going to see the map. You're going to see houses for sale that you can heart. And you can actually build your own custom housing list, which is so cool to see. It's not something that we think you would like. It's actually homes that you like, and then it starts catering to you. But really cool. Anyways, JoJo, there's the map.
I got you, Jackson. So we're talking about food here when we're going around cruising Katy, Texas.
Yeah. We always talking food.
But here's
Joe.
La Sunterra, and then they have great restaurants out here. It's in the heart of Cinco Ranch. And as you can see, there's just so many different.
But I don't think we talked about La Sunterra.
We didn't, but
No.
years ago
What is it?
when we did our original vlogs
Of Katy, yep.
of Katy, you walked out there, and I think you were in front of Torchy's Tacos. Yeah.
Yep. Man, we got memories. Dude, we got memories or what, JoJo?
Hey, man, it's still
So
Yeah.
this is in Cinco Ranch. This is done. This is
done.
cool.
And what's cool is if you get an idea of what
looks like
this
the
is
Woodlands.
about, this is the same thing, guys, that let me back out the map. So you're right here. You're on the other side of I-10.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you come over here to, what's this? Pickle Point?
Not Pickle Point, Katy.
But anyways,
I know what you're talking
where
about.
Ellison is.
It's just to the north of that.
Yeah, they're going to be doing the same thing, the same developer. So Les Sunterra, they're going to have that in Katy.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? Where Sunterra is, you're going to have 2 spots basically to go.
Yeah.
But it's all around. I mean, you have the freeway, you have barbecue restaurants, you have an In-N-Out in Katy, Texas. There's just so many different things.
You got a Buc-ee's out there. Yeah, so there's plenty to do next to Sunterra. Ellison is literally a street or two to the north, which will have a whole. We were driving by that last week. My goodness, it's going. It's like almost there. It's right off 99. They're developing it, and you're talking a lot, like really cool shops, restaurants, bars, and then across on that east side of 99, they're building that big Bridgeland Town Center thing too. So
yeah. So even right here, see my blue line? That's between Ellison and Sunterra. So it's basically a 12-minute drive. It's 5 miles.
yeah, that's killer.
And so all the shops are going to be right up here up front. See where EOS Fitness is?
Yep.
That's where you were walking and seeing it. I was just out there again. I mean, they keep developing.
Yep.
It's just growing, by the month, basically.
Yeah, so with that, I mean, at the front of Ellison, Sunterra even has some minor shopping restaurants in its neighborhood, kinder care centers, and then when you drive out go to the south, Cinco Ranch is already like completely developed, and you've got Typhoon water parks, you got all the Tiger Woods, golf places, baseball, dugout baseball. I mean, it's just crazy what's going on there, and that's minutes away. To the north, you have Ellison, and then Bridgeland is just up to the north of there. And Bridgeland, we keep talking to Joe for Ravenna Homes, and he says he's not, like, quote unquote, like it's not set in stone yet, but what they're building for Bridgeland, which is, again, just in that corridor, is going to be bigger than, like, the Woodlands.
Bigger than the Woodlands.
Yeah.
So Joe is our person that fills us in. Not Joe, but Joe.
Joe.
He's got the info on that.
Joe got the info. Yeah. So Sunterra, I think that's just what is driving a lot of people out that way.
And it's the price point.
I was just
because
gonna say,
you're not getting
yeah.
into the millions there.
No.
So they built a housing that accommodates a market for people to enjoy a lifestyle, to have the lagoon and have those amenities, but
Yep.
still not be over $650,000. I think the most expensive house on the MLS in there is like $630 right now.
Yeah. So maybe we can dive into the MLS a little bit. I guess just like a question for me too is that their goal was more of that, like, extreme affordability? It's more homes. It's going to be people, and then but you still have more good builders there. Weston's over there.
Yep, you still have some of the major builders. You have Highland Homes,
Yeah.
Weston Homes, Ashton Woods is a
Ashton
great one,
Wood,
Castle
yeah.
Rock, as we went into.
For sure.
Great what you get for the bang for Long Lake. I mean, you have Beezer Homes, a lot of the major builders that are in all other areas of suburbs.
So what is, why don't you pull up the MLS? What's going on in there?
Well,
Is it active? Is
you want to
it
see how
dead?
active it is, Jackson?
Is it dead? Is it active?
We can go in here and do new construction homes. There's 252 new construction homes, and you're probably freaking out thinking, what the heck is going on?
What
Is
the heck
that inventory
going
sitting
on?
there and it's not moving?
Before he gets to that, do you know that he can actually make you a custom search as well with the MLS? We can do it through originalhoustontexas.com, just hard it, whatever, or just email us at our email, houston@realagentnow.com. There's the info or the number. Call us, and we can work with you directly. But this is stuff that Joe does with clients too. So if you're looking for a specific area, range, homes, he can make that criteria.
Yeah, we can even send
Yep.
out a criteria before we even dive into, say, a Zoom call and
Yep.
really get into what they're looking for. Because a lot of people, they have a general search and an idea.
Yep.
However, we hop on a Zoom call in order to dive deeper, because a lot of times for that type of house they're looking for, it might not be the right area.
Yeah.
And that's where we listen when they're, moving over here.
That's where we listen. But since we've been doing these videos and really bringing up the MLS, this is stuff that you guys don't have access to. We've had so many people reach out and go, hey, we really want to do a deep dive with you and your team, and we want to know the ins and outs of these markets that we're looking at personally and specifically, and it's helping people make decisions on areas too. So,
And I'm just one of many on the team
Yeah.
that, we all operate in this manner. We have that culture of this is what we do, and for this, we're basically experts in the suburbs.
Yeah, and I think it's so. Real quick, we'll get to the if stuff's selling in there, but it's a good point. So instead of just, hey, you're moving here, okay, let's just tour you around. Hey, let's listen to you. Let's hear what you actually want. What is your actual budget? And then we break it down to like specific numbers, neighborhoods. That's what the team is doing. Yeah, differently. So it's nice that you guys get the real numbers, truth behind that stuff. So
all right, Jackson. So back to 252. What is that? That means how many brand new homes are in this community?
Well, what do you mean for sale?
For sale, active
sale. Okay.
right now. And my first thought, I'm like, okay, well, that means the properties are staying stagnant.
Yeah.
However, we can look and see and click on option pending to show and pending. And if you see this number down here at the bottom, it went to 234. So just as many homes are on the market, the same amount practically is pending. So what that means, there is activity going on out there. It's just a massive subdivision.
I mean, that's like 50-50.
50-50.
What does that tell you?
Well, that means there's activity. So it's not stagnant. That would be concerning if you had 250 and then only say 20 homes were pending.
Right.
That means you just have stuff sitting there.
So these are, there's 19 builders, there's 25 model homes. So that's a lot of
It's a lot.
inventory out there. But what you're saying is that's a lot of homes going under contract.
It is. It is.
There's over 230 homes
And I'm sure
under
you're
contract.
probably curious, what are the price ranges like?
Hey, I'm curious.
What
are
I
the
like
price
to do is
ranges
look
like,
at
Joe?
the very low. The very low is basically right under 1,500 square feet for 256.
Sheesh.
And that's 18 days on the market. A lot of times you're going to see new homes that may have a real high days on the market. It's only because may only have the foundation there. So they list it from the very beginning. And so days on market accumulate a little bit more than resale homes.
Oh.
So it's not like it's just sitting there because it might be a 5, 6, 7, 8 month build.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you guys knew it.
And so the most expensive home on the MLS right now is $584 right now.
584.
$584. Not to say there's probably a few more in the 600s. However, that's what's marketed on the MLS. A lot of the homes that we get may not be on the MLS, or we get updated numbers, or there's different incentives that we know about versus just going onto the MLS and finding out. You have to really reach out to us to know what that looks like.
Did you hear that? That means there's a lot more homes that have incredible deals, specials. There's our contact information. This is not a gimmick. This is what we do. We built this entire Original Living in Houston channel. All we do, we work with these relocation buyers. JoJo, the team, this is what we do. So it's a good point. 584. There could be a lot more other homes out there.
Well, what's the picture look like?
That's what. Don't worry. I'm stringing him along, Joe. He's killing me. But what we want to do is show you. Joe, and that's the thing. You have to realize too that not everybody knows this stuff. Sometimes we can get ahead and just like, oh, everybody knows.
We wake up and breathe this 7 days a week. So, sometimes I may take it a little for granted that, where the average person the average person sells every 7 years.
Right.
So this isn't something they're doing every single day.
And not a lot of people are moving across the country to a new city suburb like I did here to Houston, and you're freaking out. You're trying to get the kids into new schools. It's a lot of stress. Trust me, I know it. And then I moved to the wrong spot. So then I had to tell my kids, hey, we're moving. And they cried. But we moved to the best spot now.
Yeah.
But it took time. So that's what we're trying to eliminate. But
the good news is that you started out renting a house.
Right.
And you felt like that was the best for you at the time. It allowed you to get to know the area.
Yep. And I wouldn't have. It was like some situation. But anyways, it all worked out. Anyways, the moral of the story is there's a lot more information. If you have some questions, about the move, about properties that are available, maybe not even on the market. That's what I'm trying to get across is like, you talked about that house right there. Let's look at it. And you're like, there could be actually more properties that aren't even listed. And that's usually who's calling us, the sales reps with those deals.
Yeah. So this is a Weston home.
Hey.
This curved staircase, the rotunda.
Look at that thing.
Light colored floors, open windows, natural lighting, kitchen open to the living room. You got this nice decor fireplace now that they insert that's very modern and sleek looking. It's not running off of logs anymore. It does give off some heat. But it has the high ceilings.
Go back.
I know that was the money shot right there.
That is baller.
And so they have different plans. Like you have a formal dining room right here, some of them have the third car in there, the tandem. So there's different plans for everybody.
Oh, that's a good point.
This is good. And if you're looking for an amazing price on these Westons, we do know other areas as well if Katy happens to not be that location.
Oh, man, Joe, you got all the ins. I'm still looking at these pictures. Look at that.
Yep, that's where you, we always look at the tub.
Yep, got the get ready, obscure glass.
Yep. So we could go through it again like we're on our Saturday show.
Yep.
But, just to kind of give you a little idea what that's about.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Someone sees that house online and they go just directly to that builder versus going like directly through you or talking to you. What's the difference of that?
Well, the difference is that, one, people are on a tight timeline, and they get into a place and they go to that builder that might not be the right place for them. It might not be the right home. So they're going to a sales rep who is going to tell them every single thing about that specific home and want to keep them there.
Yeah.
Now, let's just say you know for a fact that's the home that you want. People can do it on their own. There's no denying that. However, there's no cost difference to go on your own or go without, especially if you found the area and the home because you saw our videos and got great value out of it. That definitely helps us to continue to do what we do. However, representing everybody, though, we can not only be a second set of eyes and ears for them. Any questions they have, we have a fiduciary responsibility once we go into a buyer's rep. I know I'm getting a little technical, but it's important to know you have someone in your corner. And then also we can negotiate. We can squeeze any more incentives that are on the table. It's not always the case, but it is a lot of the times as well. And not only that, then once they go into contract, we can also advise them on some of the best home inspectors that we have worked with over the years that we know can help them really be the internal eyes of the house,
Even with those new construction homes, you need an eagle eye like JoJo
well, what
and the
happens
team looking at
a
it.
lot of times you walk in with they'll tell you don't need a home inspection, you don't need these things. And when we give out our numbers to some of our best home inspectors, not only that, we have as far as it's not a relationship. I don't like to say relationship because that makes it feel like I'm on the builder's side. But what it is, it's a mutual understanding saying, hey, these people bring us a lot of business. We need to pay attention when they're giving us this report to fix their home, to fix their homes because they know that we're coming with other people as well.
No, I get it. Just want these people to know. Did you have anything else to show on the MLS? I want to get to everybody's questions from a week or so ago.
That's
as well.
pretty much it.
Okay.
Once people have more questions about it, we can dive into it. So just so you know, plenty of actives, plenty of pendings. So it's just a very stabilized market in there, and there's still great deals as you saw this past week.
Yep. So I'm looking at the first question, and we kind of actually just went through this, but it's from Ross Vesey. I love Ellison. Please do an update on that area and the commercial development in front of Ellison. That's what you actually just went through.
Yeah.
That's going to be right on the 99. We drove by it, and we drive by it all the time, and they are, it is coming up, and it's cool because you can start to see all the sections of the shops and restaurants, and I'm doing that because they'll probably have a big center area to hang out. It's going to be big and walkable.
I like Ellison too. I think it's a great area. I like it because it's closer to the 99. It is a little congested at times during peak hours out there. But that's everywhere in Houston. As far as growth goes, we've been talking, and people have been mentioning that there's going to be an HEB somewhere out there as well. So that's huge. You started just with the Target, and now there's
the biggest Target in the world.
The biggest Target. Now you have gyms. You saw EOS gym going in there. All kinds of shops, everything. It's just gorgeous.
Yep, it's a cool area.
It is.
Sure.
It's cool. It's really nice.
So, Hoop Workshop said, hey, what about actually had kind of two different comments, but Jubilee and Hockley area, which is very close to that as well, up to that northwest section. If you were to compare kind of like that Hockley versus a Sunterra, is there any differences or?
There's slight differences, and I think, one of the differences is that Katy has gotten its name, right?
Yeah.
So just saying you're in Katy is a little bit more known. And I think right now, Hockley, the growth that they're having, the money they're pouring into the school systems, and everything that's projected to go out there, because Cypress is pretty much built out, other than like Bridgeland, your major one.
Yeah.
I think that's a very hidden gem that people are going to miss out on buying right now. The opportunity to buy in the early stages out there where the prices are.
In the
yes,
Hockley,
because I mean that's going to rival all the other cities, because as the future goes, that's where it's going, is that direction, and then towards Willis.
Yep.
You know, and what Willis is, what I'm saying is that's on the backside of Hockley. So growth is only going to keep happening.
Yeah, no, Hockley. In fact, we had another.
And I still like it. It's close. It's off of the
It's closer. I like it because.
And then if people have, grown kids that are going to college, I mean, you can get out to Texas A&M out there.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many different areas. I mean, it's a quick over to Austin. Chapel Hill.
Yep.
A lot of great places going out of Houston.
Yeah, I think it's just closer to so many things. In fact, lifestyle with All Day Strong 8166. What data do you have about Hockley, or what is the growth potential, commercial, retail coming soon, that kind of stuff? So more questions about Hockley. People are kind of zoning in on
and that's going to really get granular, getting into that commercial type of information. Right. We'll reveal it as we go along, and we like to share that when we're out in the field, actually. However, you're going to see just as a good picture or snapshot is take any of the major suburbs that we video. It's going to have that same type of trajectory. They're going to build the stores out there. They'll probably have an H-E-B. They'll do, major like Costco's and all those things as growth happens throughout the years.
Yep.
Now, we haven't heard anything like that. It's just that's what happens, and we've seen it over and over. Just like, for example, on 249, right there where we cross over on 99, they built a brand new Costco out there. That's because of all the stuff that was happening way out in Magnolia, where people thought it was in the middle of nowhere, and then now all that's developed.
For sure. The one thing I will mention about Hockley, because we drive out that way a lot, is on the map, and even when you're like in the Hockley area, it feels almost like you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. But
it does.
It will have the future growth. It's going to have all the shops and all that stuff. But right now, it's not as needed. Like when you're out in the Sunterras and stuff, you've got to come in, and they're building all that along the 99. But the Hockley and like Jubilee, you hop on. And you're to the 99 within a couple minutes. You're at all the you're in Cypress. You have all the outlet malls. It's all very close right now. So even if it's not there yet, you're very, very close to all of it.
Yeah, and that's the same to be said with Sunterra. You know, when it first started, it was in the middle of a field.
Yeah,
But imagine the people that got in at the beginning.
Imagine.
Yeah.
But even now, still good prices. We got the Vic 23 says, what are some good areas near the Woodlands and Spring that is good for a future family that will be leaving military service? But basically good areas near the Woodlands or Spring, Texas.
All right. So that's Victor, right?
Yeah. Vic.
All right.
Yep.
All right. So, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
However, I don't know if you want me to share on my map.
Hold on. You got to plug back in. We lost you real quick.
I'll plug back in.
There we go.
And let's just go to a new map. And so let's see, we have the Woodlands right here.
We get a lot of people asking Spring Woodlands area, like north, right?
Yeah, and it just depends on the type of living you have. But what's real popular is, and we've always done videos out here, is right here off of the 99. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of little subdivisions out there. You have Woodson's Reserve. This area on the other side is has a ton of resale homes, and it's just a very nice neighborhood and conveniently located out here.
Yep.
Let's see.
I know in that, there you go.
That's where the Kroger's is, the movie theater.
Is that all Imperial Oak?
Yeah, that's Imperial Oaks. But what I was going at, we always pass by here because there's a little section out here that they're still building some new construction.
Yeah.
I would say as far as if you're looking for under 400, that they have some nice homes in the very back still building there.
Gotcha.
And then resale, goes out there from $350 up to $1 million in a certain sections.
Yeah.
So it's a good mix and a variety. And there's several ways to get to the Woodlands Mall from here. There's a back way, and then there's 3 other ways to get through there. So it's a really nice area.
That was sneaky. We went in there. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Wow. How nice. Because it's already like developed, which I kind of like, so the trees are taller. The grass is greener. It's more mature. Yeah.
It's got the landscaping. It's got the vibe. It's pretty good. We've had a lot of people when there wasn't a lot of new construction during COVID. purchased out in this area, and they absolutely love it.
Yeah. Once you drive through it, it's kind of a vibe, a feeling. So
then you go up to
there's multiple of them
242,
there.
Victor, and that's where we've done Artavia, Evergreen. Just keep an eye on those areas. There's a lot of subdivisions in between there.
Yeah, zoom out a pinch so they can kind of see.
Let's see, right over here.
Okay, see the woodlands there.
There's
on
the
the left.
woodlands. So you have 242, you have 99 here, and then also back here in the back side, you have some where Augusta Pines.
Yep.
There's some nice areas right back here as well. So there's quite a lot of areas really to be within probably 15 to 20 minutes of the woodlands.
Yep. And a few different newer communities, GCP, those ones. There's
GCP
actually,
still there. Good.
what is
good.
it? Harper's Reserve, Preserve. There's 2 different reserve preserves. These are all things, again, that when you hop on a private Zoom call with us and the team, that we start listening and we show you
Yeah.
a bunch of these areas and then tell you the differences of them, right?
And sometimes what we do, we also set up people that are buying, say, a year out, 2 years out. We can set up a search, and then they only get
Yep.
like maybe twice a month. They'll get an inventory update, so that way they can see has prices increased. So say they're buying a year from now or a year and a half, they can keep an eye on the market, and they can see if it's going up or down.
Yep.
Or what the availability is.
Yep. Well, we've done a good one today. We've answered all the questions. Hopefully, you guys are filling our comments with more questions of different areas. Get specific if you want. We'll bring them up on the map. We'll tell you what it's like to be in there. If you haven't yet, we would love for you to be one of our subscribers. So we do videos every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Central Time. Those are our big vlogs. And then now Wednesday nights, we're mapping your move to Houston. So as you can see, we're going to pull up your questions and answer them. So whatever you have. And then the number one thing that we love more than anything, the reason we built this channel, the reason we've built the biggest relocation team is because we love helping people move, relocate here. So take yourself some time, write that email down, that number, hit it 24/7. We've got you when moving here to Houston. And if you've missed any of our mapping your moves, we got a whole playlist of them right here. So go through all of those. You can really get in-depth, deep dives of each area and start finding these areas that you think you would like the most. So, JoJo,
What time it is?
what time it is? It's time to go. So I was going to sing Bubble Guppies. It's time for lunch. That's old school. Anyways, we'll catch you guys next time.